Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this side event organized by the European Foundation for South Asian Studies, based in Amsterdam, co-sponsored by the United Schools International. As you can see, the event is about terrorism in South Asia, particularly focusing on Indo-Pak relations, Jammu and Kashmir, and the wider region of South Asia, including Afghanistan. Discussion about terrorism varies significantly around the world, with the highest levels found in the Middle East, South Asia, and Western Europe, regions that have suffered significantly from terrorist attacks and continue to face the threat of terrorism and extremism. The European Foundation for South Asian Studies specializes in research pertaining to terrorism and extremism in South Asia, covering an area of almost 2 million square miles and home to over a quarter of the world's population. South Asia and its importance cannot and must not be underestimated. It has been a frontline region as far as terrorism and extremism are concerned, as many international terrorist organizations continue to operate from locations in South Asia. For people in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, and the region of Jammu and Kashmir, terrorism is sadly an inevitable part of life that also significantly impacts the politics of the region. The expansion of terrorist organizations having their origins in South Asia and the Middle East to way beyond their geographical boundaries finds evidence in their solid worldwide recruitment policy. It is now unambiguously clear to policymakers, security experts, and watchers of the phenomenon across the world that the threat of terrorism is not restricted to the region of origination anymore. The mass use of internet and social media has further obscured the borders of extremism and posed an undeniable danger to global peace. These regional and global developments render greater cooperation between the West and South Asia imperative in order to effectively address global security challenges and simultaneously guarantee mutual strategic interests. The European Foundation for South Asian Studies analyzes and examines effective counter-terrorism strategies that include but are not limited to concepts such as prevention and the rule of law. We provide policy advice and practical, solution-oriented implementation support based on multidimensional studies and research. EFSAS conducts fact-based analysis of actual and potential uses of terrorism as a tactic by state and non-state actors in order to provide policy guidance to international organizations, governments, academic institutions, NGOs, think tanks, and civil society across the world. Our fact-gathering approach that serves as the basis of our in-depth analysis is aimed at contributing towards improving efficiency in preventing terrorism, responding to the serious threat posed by it, and effective recovery from each unfortunate manifestation of this ever-expanding menace. We believe that developing and sustaining peace inevitably also requires an understanding of the root causes of conflict. EFSAS researches the attitudes, structures, and institutions that underpin and sustain peaceful societies. Simultaneously, through analysis of economical, social, political, and environmental factors, we seek to identify the contributing factors that give birth to, sustain, and exacerbate conflicts. We aim to effectively use tools of research and dialogue to provide innovative strategies to overcome adversity and conflict and to contribute to lasting peace in South Asia. Our endeavors are humble attempts to usher in an atmosphere that promotes long-term positive change within the constituent countries of this region and their people. For this to be achieved, the primary challenge of conflict resolution and terrorism, without any doubt, needs to be tackled head-on first. A considerable amount of the research conducted by EFSAS focuses on the long-standing conflict of Jammu and Kashmir and its elemental dimensions. A territorial conflict between India, Pakistan, and China. Of course, it also remains a conflict that impacts the future of around 20 million people of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Sadly, the Jammu and Kashmir conflict for the last 7 decades is still reason for hostility, political instability, extremism, and economic malaise in the region. Today, we have invited different scholars to deliberate upon terrorism in South Asia from various perspectives based on their respective expertise. By doing this, we hope to approach the challenges in South Asia from a scholarly viewpoint, which will inevitably enhance our understanding of the complexities and sensitivities prevailing in this region. I have on my right side Mr. Boris Wilke, a senior researcher and political scientist at the Institute for Interdisciplinary Research on Conflict and Violence of the Bielefeld University in Germany. On my left, I have Mr. Burzin Wagner of the University of London School of Oriental and African Studies, who also holds affiliations with the SOAS, South Asia Institute, London Middle East Institute, Center for the Study of Pakistan, and the Center for Iranian Studies. To the left, I also have Mr. Rob McCusker, who is the head of Division for Community and Criminal Justice at the Montfort University in Leicester, and has previously worked with the Specialist Crime Directorate of the Metropolitan Police, the Council of Europe, APEC, the FBI, and the US State Department. And then to the extreme right, Mr. Paul Stott, who teaches at the University of Leicester and at the Center for International Studies and Diplomacy at SOAS London. His book on British jihadism will be published in 2018.